Have you ever wondered why so many men keep losing their energy, confidence, and drive, no matter how many supplements, powders, or miracle pills they try? Every week, I meet men who've done everything right. They work out, eat clean, take all the vitamins they see on TV, and yet their strength fades, their blood pressure rises, and intimacy becomes a struggle they don't want to talk about. What they don't realize is that the problem isn't their age, their willpower, or their genetics. It's the system, a system built to keep them dependent on prescriptions that mask symptoms and on supplements that promise miracles but quietly drain their vitality. I've seen this pattern again and again, men spending hundreds on health only to end up more tired, more anxious, and more disconnected from themselves than ever. But here's the part that changes everything. The body isn't the enemy. It's not failing you, it's warning you. Those early signs, slower mornings, weaker focus, fading desire, aren't random. They're signals that something deeper is off balance. And once you understand that imbalance, you can restore it. So in this video, I'm going to uncover 3 everyday supplements that silently sabotage male performance and circulation, and I'll show you how to turn that around naturally without another pill. Because healing doesn't come from adding more. It begins when you finally remove what's been hurting you all along. When I first sit across from a man who tells me he's not the same down there anymore, I can almost feel the weight behind those words. Some whisper it like a secret, others try to laugh it off, but behind every smile, there's fear of losing control, of losing connection, of losing that spark that once defined them. And here's the truth. Most people don't realize erection problems rarely start in the bedroom. They start in the bloodstream. An erection isn't magic, it's biology. It's the most honest reflection of how healthy a man's blood vessels, hormones, and nerves really are. Think of it like a performance test your body gives itself every day. When blood can flow freely, hormones stay balanced, and nerve signals fire clearly, everything works in sync. But when one of those systems begins to fail, when vessels stiffen or nerves dull or hormones go off balance, the performance falters long before most men even notice. In medicine, we call this vascular dysfunction, but I prefer to explain it this way. Imagine your arteries as soft, flexible garden hoses. They're built to expand, to deliver life through pressure and flow, but over time, with stress, poor diet, hidden inflammation, those hoses start to stiffen. The pressure builds, but the flow weakens. Blood can't rush in as it should, and when it does, it can't stay there. What happens next, you already know. The signal fades, confidence drops, and a man starts to think something is wrong with him, when in reality something is wrong around him, the very environment his body lives in. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. I've treated men who were sure their problem was testosterone. Some even begged for hormone shots, convinced that would fix everything. But when we ran their labs, their testosterone wasn't the issue at all. It was their arteries, tiny microvessels so calcified and stiff that blood couldn't move through them fast enough to create or sustain an erection. You could have the hormones of a 25-year-old, but if your blood vessels move like you're 75, the result is the same. And that's what most people miss. This isn't just about performance, it's about circulation, the very heartbeat of vitality itself. Because the same arteries that fill an erection are the same ones that feed your heart and brain. So when that system weakens, it's not just your sex life at risk, it's your life. But here's the hopeful part. Once you understand that this problem starts with blood flow and balance, not age or weakness, you can change it. You can rebuild those vessels, restore that flexibility, and reignite the system that nature designed to work effortlessly. The key is to identify what's silently damaging those arteries in the first place. And that brings us to the first hidden saboteur, one that's disguised as healthy, fortified in your breakfast, and sold to millions as a must-have for bones and muscles. Yet, it may be hardening the very arteries you need soft and open. Most men have no idea they're swallowing their own decline, one tablet at a time. So before you take your next multivitamin, let's talk about the supplement that's quietly turning strength into stiffness, not in your muscles, but in your blood vessels. The first hidden saboteur often surprises my patients because it sounds so innocent. They'll hold up their multivitamin and say, "But, doctor, this one's supposed to help my bones." And I nod because that's exactly what the label says. The problem isn't what calcium does for bones. It's what too much of it can do to your blood vessels. For decades, men have been told that calcium equals strength. Ads show gray-haired athletes jogging with milk in hand, smiling like they've discovered the secret to youth. But behind that glossy image is a darker truth. When you swallow calcium in pill form, especially without vitamin D or K2, your blood calcium spikes unnaturally high. That excess calcium doesn't always reach your bones. Instead, it can settle in your arteries, hardening them like old cement pipes. I remember a patient named Robert 58 Gym Regular, never missed a day of his calcium supplement. His cholesterol was normal, his weight fine, yet his blood pressure kept creeping up. When we ran his scans, his arteries looked decades older than he was. Tiny calcified plaques everywhere. The culprit wasn't fast food or genetics. It was the daily bone health tablet he thought was helping him. Research confirms what I saw in Robert's case. A 2010 meta-analysis found that people taking calcium without vitamin D had a 30% higher risk of heart attack. A follow-up study from South Korea went further among older adults with osteoporosis. Those taking calcium supplements without D faced nearly a 90% higher heart attack risk. Imagine that the supplement meant to strengthen your skeleton, quietly weakening the highways of your life. And when arteries stiffen, they don't discriminate. They restrict blood flow everywhere, including the tiny capillaries, responsible for an erection. I've seen men with textbook perfect hormone levels, but poor blood flow response simply because their arteries were calcified. Calcium built their bones but stole their flexibility. It's like reinforcing your house walls while letting the plumbing turn to stone. That's why I tell my patients, unless your doctor has confirmed a real deficiency, you shouldn't be taking isolated calcium pills. Your body was never meant to handle calcium in big, concentrated bursts. It prefers small doses from real food sardines, leafy greens, sesame seeds, where other minerals and enzymes help guide it safely into bone, not into blood. When you correct that imbalance, the results can be remarkable. Blood pressure stabilizes, circulation improves, energy returns, because the moment your arteries soften, your entire system wakes up again. The goal isn't to fear calcium, it's to respect its balance. You need it, but in the right way, with the right partners like vitamin D and K2 to keep it where it belongs. And just when men think they've avoided the worst, there's another surprise waiting in their medicine cabinet. It's not a mineral this time, it's a vitamin that was once called the elixir of youth, the one everyone swore would make them live longer and love better. But high doses of this vitamin have done the exact opposite for many of my patients. So before you reach for that next soft gel capsule, let's talk about what really happens when too much of a good thing turns against you. Most people think danger only hides in chemicals or artificial drugs, but sometimes the real threat wears a healthy label. After years of warning men about calcium, I began noticing another pattern, one that started not in the pharmacy, but in the vitamin aisle, vitamin E. For decades, this single letter was marketed as the fountain of youth. Commercials promised glowing skin, stronger hearts, and endless vitality. Even some physicians encouraged daily supplements, convinced that more antioxidants meant longer life. But in medicine, more rarely means better. And with vitamin E, that misunderstanding has quietly hurt millions. I still remember a patient named David, mid-50s, marathon runner, took pride in his supplement shelf. He came to me after months of fatigue, muscle tightness, and lower libido. His labs looked fine at first glance until I saw one thing: his vitamin E levels were almost double the normal range. He'd been taking 500 IU every day, thinking he was protecting his heart. But the research says otherwise. Back in 2011, a massive U.S. trial called the SELECT study followed over 35,000 men to test if vitamin E could prevent prostate cancer. The result? It increased their risk by 17%. Let that sink in. The very supplement sold as a safeguard against aging actually pushed men closer to disease. The science behind it makes sense. The body isn't a machine that thrives on flooding. It needs balance, a rhythm between oxidation and reduction. Vitamin E's job is to neutralize free radicals, but too much suppresses necessary oxidative signals that cells use to repair and communicate. When that natural dance is disrupted, everything slows down: metabolism, circulation, and even hormonal response. It's like turning down the volume on every system meant to keep you alive and responsive. I've seen this play out countless times: men chasing performance stack vitamin E with zinc, magnesium, ginseng, layering supplements like armor, only to feel weaker, foggier, less driven. They're fighting fatigue with the very substances that cause it. And because these products are labeled natural, they never suspect the harm. Here's what I tell them: you probably don't need extra vitamin E at all. True deficiency is incredibly rare, usually seen only in people with severe fat absorption disorders. For everyone else, nature already provides what you need: almonds, sunflower seeds, avocado oil, olive oil, spinach. In these foods, vitamin E is balanced with other nutrients. Delivered in small, intelligent doses, the body understands. When men make that shift from synthetic capsules to real food sources, the difference is striking. Within weeks, they report clearer energy, steadier mood, and sharper focus. It's not magic, it's physiology restored. Because when your cells stop drowning in excess, your body finally remembers how to perform. But before we wrap up, there's one more supplement that deserves your full attention. It's the most common mineral men reach for when they want to boost testosterone or fertility. And yet, in high doses, it quietly unravels everything they're trying to fix. It's praised in every men's formula, found in multivitamins, and often sold as the manhood mineral. But what happens when that very mineral starts choking your blood flow from the inside? Let's talk about the one substance that can make or break male vitality: zinc. By the time we finish talking about vitamin E, most men in my clinic think they've cracked the code. They throw away their antioxidant pills, feel a wave of relief, and then proudly point to one bottle they refuse to give up. But I still take zinc, they tell me. That one's safe, right? It's for testosterone. And every time I smile gently and say, let's talk about that. Because zinc is the most misunderstood mineral in men's health. Yes, it's essential. Your body needs it to build testosterone, protect the prostate, and support immune strength. Without enough energy, drops, mood crashes, and performance suffers. But here's the twist: too much zinc doesn't make you stronger. It makes you slower, weaker, and more inflamed. The same mineral that can ignite vitality can also suffocate it. I once worked with a patient named Mark, 61 years old, former firefighter, still proud of his stamina. He came to me after months of feeling lightheaded and frustrated in bed, convinced that his testosterone had tanked. His supplement routine look like a bodybuilder's checklist protein powder multivitamin, and an extra 50 milligram zinc tablet for good measure. His blood work told the story. Testosterone was fine, copper, nearly undetectable. His arteries had started stiffening, his HDL, the good cholesterol, had plummeted. He wasn't zinc deficient, he was copper starved. That's the hidden danger. Zinc and copper are partners in a delicate equation. When you drown your system with zinc, especially anything over 40 milligrams a day, you push copper out of balance. And copper isn't just a trace mineral, it's the scaffolding that keeps blood vessel walls elastic, the quiet architect of collagen and nitric oxide production. Without it, arteries age, faster blood flow slows, and oxygen delivery weakens. You can flood your body with testosterone all day long, but if blood can't move, desire has nowhere to go. Studies confirm what I've seen again and again. Men who megadose zinc for more than 6 weeks show lower HDL sluggish nitric oxide response. And early markers of vascular stiffness, the same recipe that leads straight to erectile dysfunction and heart disease. Yet, supplement ads keep shouting zinc equals manhood. It's clever marketing built on half-truths. Zinc is vital, but only in harmony, not isolation. When I explain this, there's always a long silence followed by the same question, so how do I fix it? The answer is simple but powerful. Stop overdosing your system. Get zinc from real foods, oysters, pumpkin seeds, pasture-raised eggs, grass-fed meat, where it comes naturally paired with copper and other cofactors that prevent imbalance. If you must supplement, choose formulas that include 1 to 2 milligrams of copper for every 15-20 milligrams of zinc. Your body was built for synergy, not single nutrient overload, and the change can be dramatic. Within a month, men often tell me they feel cleaner, their energy, steadier sleep, deeper mood, sharper. What's happening isn't magic. It's circulation, restored, chemistry, rebalanced. When oxygen moves freely again, everything that depends on it from brain to performance comes back online. But as I often remind them, supplements alone were never the enemy. The real danger lies in the mindset that health can be bought in a bottle. Your body doesn't need more additions, it needs fewer disruptions. And when we remove those silent saboteurs, what's left is clarity, strength, and a vitality that feels unmistakably alive. So before you reach for another capsule promising youth and power, take a step back and ask, is it feeding your health or feeding an industry that profits when you stay dependent? Because the truth is, healing isn't about stacking pills. It's about restoring the balance that nature already gave you. After watching patient after patient trapped in this endless supplement cycle, I realized something simple yet profound. The human body doesn't crave more ingredients, it craves equilibrium. Most men don't need another pill. They need permission to stop drowning their systems in confusion. When Mark, the firefighter I told you about earlier, finally stopped his megadosing routine, I watched his body exhale. Within weeks, his blood pressure dropped. His skin brightened, and that constant tension in his shoulders began to melt. It wasn't the absence of zinc or calcium or vitamin E that healed him. It was the return of balance, because the body is not a machine you upgrade with parts. It's a living ecosystem that thrives when every element knows its place. Science keeps proving what ancient medicine has whispered for centuries: homeostasis is healing. Every heartbeat, every hormone, pulse, every neuron spark depends on harmony between minerals, antioxidants, and blood flow. Disrupt that rhythm, and fatigue, anxiety, and low performance follow. Restore it, and vitality reappears quietly like a sunrise you almost forgot existed. The irony is, none of this requires expensive formulas or overnight miracles. It starts with awareness, reading labels, questioning the ads that promise more energy by simply adding more. It means eating real food again, drinking water without sweeteners, moving your body daily, sleeping long enough for your hormones to recalibrate. The solutions are ordinary, but their effects are extraordinary once the noise is gone. In my years of practice, I've seen the same moment again and again, the spark of realization when a man understands that health was never lost. It was just buried under excess. He begins to feel his body work with him instead of against him. His confidence shifts from fragile to grounded. That's the moment true healing starts, not in a pharmacy, but in self-awareness. And if you've been listening this far, you're already ahead of most, because now you know the enemy isn't age or fate, it's imbalance. And balance is something you can reclaim starting today. So before you open the next bottle, promising to fix what's wrong, pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me return to balance or keeping me dependent on it? Once you start asking that question, you've already begun to heal. Now that we've uncovered how 3 everyday supplements can quietly sabotage male vitality, I want to show you what truly restores it, simple, natural ways to boost blood flow, energy, and confidence from the inside out. Stay with me, because what comes next isn't another warning. It's the roadmap back to strength. So, let's bring it all together. You've just learned how 3 supplements, calcium, vitamin E, and zinc, can silently work against the very strength they claim to protect. They harden arteries, unbalance hormones, and weaken the system that keeps a man alive, focused, and confident. But now you also know the truth that most people never hear. Your body is not broken. It doesn't need more pills. It needs balanced circulation, rest, and respect. If you start today with small choices, whole food over powder, movement over sitting, awareness over habit, you can feel the difference faster than you think. I've watched it happen in men who thought their best days were behind them. They discovered that recovery isn't about age. It's about understanding how the body really works. And that's why I make these videos, so you can take back control of your health without fear, confusion, or false promises. Because when men understand their biology, they reclaim their confidence in body, mind, and life. If this message helped you, save this video so you can return to it later. Share it with someone who needs to hear it, a brother, a friend, a husband, because awareness can change a life. And before you go, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next medical insight designed to protect and restore male vitality naturally. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these supplements surprised you the most? Tell me in the comments below. I read everyone because your story matters here. Take care of yourself, stay curious, and remember, real healing doesn't come from what you add, but from what you finally let go.